we're going to move on to the heavyweight bout of the weekend. This is number 17, Alabama at number 5, Georgia. This is the SEC's marquee showdown. According to our model, I can see some folks cringing at home, right? I'm going to go into this one. All right? This game might not be as close as the rankings suggest. The PRecap model is heavily favoring Alabama. Now, I'm going to try to unpack that the best I can, but I don't have a good answer for you, okay? This is giving the Crimson Tide an 87.8% win probability, projecting about a 10.2 point margin in Bama's favor. Yeah, you heard that right. The model thinks Alabama could win by around 10 points on the road in Athens. Obviously, this raised my eyebrows. Okay, I'm sure it's raising the eyebrows of some of you folks tuning in now. And I'm sure Georgia fans are going to take issue with it. So put the pitchforks away, right? Let's break down why the model, not necessarily me, is so bullish on Bama, okay? One reason that it's taking into account is recent performance in history. So Alabama, after that stumble in week 1, that ugly loss to Florida State, has looked more like the Alabama we expect, okay? They've since blown out to opponents. Yes, it was UL Monroe and it was Wisconsin by scores of 73-0 and 38-14, respectively. Over those first 3 games, Alabama is averaging 42.7 points per game on offense and giving up only 15 points on defense. Still a very good defense. These are elite numbers, even if one of those games was against an FCS team, okay? So the offense under DeBoer, helmed by Ty Simpson, is clicking. He's been 9 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions through 3 starts. He's pushing the ball downfield. Alabama's averaging over 13 yards per pass attempt, showing big play passing attack capability. And a huge part of that is, of course, what Ryan Williams brings to the table. He's just an explosive play waiting to happen. We saw it 2 weeks ago when Williams put up 165 and 2 tutties against Wisconsin. So Bama's passing game looks dynamic. How did Tennessee exploit Georgia 2 weeks ago in Knoxville? It was deep balls. It was the passing attack. Okay. What the model is seeing that Alabama can do is a lot of what Tennessee did to Georgia. And Tennessee, were it not for a missed kick, wins that game. And we're talking about Tennessee and Georgia both very differently here. Meanwhile, Georgia's defense, usually their calling card, has shown some cracks, especially in the passing game. They gave up 41 and nearly 500 yards to Tennessee in that 44-41 overtime win in week 3. Now, that game was on the road, but still very uncharacteristic to see the Bulldog secondary get shredded like that, okay? Overall, Georgia's defense allowing about 18 points per game. That's good, but it's not as lights out as they've been in recent years. Their pass defense in particular is allowing 217 yards per game, which is about middle of the pack. Maybe worse by Georgia standards traditionally. The model likely sees Alabama's 335 plus passing yards per game and 42-point scoring average and think that Alabama is going to move the ball with the same efficiency on this Georgia defense. But I am not going to sell Georgia short. The Bulldogs are 3-0. They're ranked number 5 for a reason. Kirby Smart's team is coming off a bye week, as is Alabama. So they've had extra time to prep for this one. Georgia's offense has been quite potent itself, 39 points per game, 470 yards of offense on average. They're very, very balanced, roughly 261 passing yards, 209 rushing yards per game. In his first year as the starter, Gunnar Stockton has been really efficient. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, some absolute dimes. And he adds a running element that Carson Beck just didn't really bring to the table last year for them. He's already rushed for 3 touchdowns and 124 yards. So Bama's defense is going to have to account for his legs. And speaking of defense, Georgia may have yielded yards to Tennessee, but they're still pretty damn good in the trenches. They're allowing only 82.7 rushing yards per game. That's a top 10 run defense. If they can make Alabama one-dimensional and put the game on Ty Simpson in a hostile environment, I think that's to Georgia's advantage. Remember, Simpson has yet Well, I mean, I'm not going to say he has yet to play a true road game. They played Florida State was a road game, so I didn't mean to say that. But I think playing between the hedges at night in the SEC at Georgia, I mean, Bama, Georgia, that's going to be trial by fire. That's as big as it gets. One more factor, and something that the model tangentially can factor is the psychological edge. It's the psychological edge. Alabama has largely had Georgia's number over the past decade plus. The Tide have won 9 of the last 10 meetings against Georgia. The lone exception was that national title game. And get this, Georgia has not beaten Alabama in Athens since, what, 03? I'm sure Kirby's mentioned this, right? I'm sure he's mentioned it to the team. The Bulldogs are hungry to end that streak, to end that drought. The home crowd will be fired up. Georgia knows this could be a statement win to cement themselves as a playoff frontrunner and could be one of the best wins of the year of any team in the FBS to date. Now, does my gut agree with the model's confidence in Alabama? Not entirely. I actually think I do lean Alabama here, but I think it's a lot closer than a double-digit spread. I think the model might be a bit over-enamored with Bama's statistical profile, which is skewed by that 73-0 game. So I expect a tight heavyweight fight. Alabama's offense has the edge in the passing game. And I do trust I do trust Ty Simpson to protect the ball, but Georgia's ability to run the ball, man, that offensive line is good. They showed that against Tennessee when they just wanted to sustain a drive and run it down your throat. They could 4, 5, 5.5 yards a carry. I mean, can they do it against Alabama? Well, this is an Alabama defense that gave up 230 rushing yards in a road game at Florida State. That would be a concern if I'm Alabama. If Georgia can pound the rock, chew clock, keep Simpson on the sideline, I think this game definitely swings in Georgia's favor. Let's not forget the turnover margin either. Alabama's -2 on the season in turnover, whereas Georgia's slightly positive. So in a game this evenly matched, a turnover or special teams play could decide it. All that being said, I'm going to stick with Alabama as my pick. I think Ty Simpson's poise and that array of playmakers will find a way to score just enough. I mean, when you've had somebody's number for this long, it's as mental as anything gets in this game, right? And the Crimson Tide defense, like, while maybe not vintage Nick Saban dominance, I think they're opportunistic and fast. I see something like a one-score game deep into the fourth quarter, Bama making a key red zone stop or a key drive to pull it out. So I'm going to take Alabama, but in a thriller, this is one where I'd gladly take Georgia with, +10 if I were betting. Obviously, this is not a betting spread. This is just my model's point margin because that is really, really high. So don't think it's going to be quite that large, but straight up going Bama. Can't wait for this one. Hit that subscribe button like Alabama hits the transfer portal, and let's head over to Columbia, South Carolina for